Oh, hello, world. Good morning. Welcome to our stream. Hello. Hello, yes. We're taking like senior portraits. That's the theme of today. We are here with Sophia Gach-Rasool. I'm so sorry.
Gach-Rasool.
Gach-Rasool.
Or Sophia Yeshi, as I'm known on the internet.
Yes, Yeshi Design on the internet.
Yes.
I am Andrew Hochradel. Just Hawk.co on the internets as well. Welcome to our stream this morning. I'm super excited.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here.
How many of you were here yesterday in chat? Pop in and let us know. Hello, Mitchell or Michelle? Mitchell, with a T is Mitchell, right?
Yes.
Yes. Good morning, Tim. Hello, Brandon.
Hi, Brandon.
Hi, Francisco Paco Seller. Hello. Let's take a look quick at your Behance.
Yeah.
So Behance is a great place for you guys to post your work, to show off the projects you're working on, and here's some of your work. Will you tell us a little bit about you, a little bit about your work, if people weren't here yesterday?
Yes, so if you weren't here yesterday, I'm a graphic designer and illustrator. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm living in New York. I'm obviously excited to be here because, you know, it's awesome working with Adobe, but actually I got my start as a designer when I was 12 years old. I discovered Photoshop and I started downloading 30-day Photoshop trials. You just like make a new email every time. But yeah, so I have always known I wanted to be a designer, so it feels like a really like a full circle moment, you know, being on live today.
That's awesome. I absolutely love your work.
Thank you so much.
It's super fun. I love the amount of texture and just like visual information that you give using the colors, using your textures. It just feels so vibrant and fun and full of life, which is great. Have you ever seen the Cartoon Network show Chowder?
No.
Okay, it's a great show. They did a great texturing technique that you kind of do here, which is great. And they animate, but they keep the textures like in place. And so the characters like move through the textures. Yeah, it's really cool. That's really cool. I absolutely love your work. I'm excited. Yesterday, we built another piece like this. We did an illustration, which is really fun today. We'll be doing a quote, right?
Yes, so it'll be more typographic. I don't think not as much focus on illustration today, just kind of tying in with the similar color scheme so that it works cohesively with the other piece.
Sweet, super fun.
So
today on Adobe Live, very excited. There's a whole bunch of stuff. We had a daily challenge right before. Get your daily challenges in if you're working on them. We'll be reviewing them at the end of this stream. Right now, we're live doing a graphic design stream. After this, Andrea Hawk will be on doing XD, and then N Wang with a case study. And I will be back at 2 o'clock hanging out with you doing the graphic design Illustrator daily challenge. Today, we are doing indexes, and we will be making a storyboard to learn about how to make strokes with arrowheads in Illustrator. So it's great. You can use a pen tool, you can use the brush tool, and make little swoops to give some information, which you do a lot in things like this piece here.
which one?
Scroll. Even this piece here, showing the motion that's happening in the dancers, showing a lot of energy here of using those small things called indexes to help give information, to give things more guidance. This is my work, Behance. Check it out. Shameless plug. Let's hop over. Yes, exactly.
We didn't have our signs
exactly. So this is. Let's oopsies. Let's hop over to the Photoshop Daily Challenge. If you want to, you can get involved in our Discord, and you can subscribe to daily challenges. We'll be looking at these at the end of the stream. So hop into Discord at this link right above us. bit.ly/psdiscord, and you can chat, get feedback, and get involved in our incredible community that we are building. All right, that's it for announcements. We got through, we did it. Now let's make stuff.
Yes.
How about that? Let's get creative.
Okay.
So give us a little overview, talk to us a little bit about what we'll be doing today.
All right. So I was thinking about a quote that I wanted to do, and it kind of hit me literally like before I went to sleep. I was like, okay, what am I going to do? So the quote is, grow through what you go through. And I want to find a way to really kind of use like the word grow and go in an interesting way that just with some text effects and interesting colors.
Cool.
Yeah, so we're gonna experiment a little bit and see what happens. But I like kind of know what I'm doing, but I feel like it'll be a process.
Yeah, that's the fun part, and that's what I love about the streams is we get to watch you and we get to create something together.
Yeah.
Of giving opinions, giving feedback, watching mistakes that are gonna happen, and then watching us recover from those mistakes.
Yes.
It's all about the creative process.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna start in Illustrator just to set the text, and
Cool.
then I'll do the same thing, exporting it as a Photoshop file and play around with it in Photoshop.
Cool.
So.
Which I learned yesterday. We built in Illustrator, saved it out, and brought it into Photoshop. Had all of our layers, all the text was still editable. So as we go through that project, I'll go through that process. We'll be sure to note what's happening. And a lot of people yesterday in Discord were asking about hotkeys and what we were using. So I'll try to note those as we go along to let you know how to do some of the hotkeys that we're working with today. Grow through what you go through is the quote.
Yes. So I'm just gonna copy the text and then type that out, go through what you go. And I think I'm gonna see if I can do go on its own line, but we'll see.
Now, when you're doing pieces like this, are you sketching beforehand? You just have it in your brain that you're like, oh, I think this is where I want to go. What's your process?
It was definitely a brain thing with this one. It was sort of just thinking about, like, I was really just thinking about the quote itself and making that come to life. And a lot of times when I'm doing things like this, like I'm not necessarily sketching. Maybe I'm getting inspiration. I'm looking at Pinterest, or maybe I'll see like a really cool drop shadow. I'm like, oh, I should do a cool drop shadow. You know, but it's not like I don't necessarily sketch it out beforehand.
Yep. And we were talking before stream that like you got this idea like in the shower. You're like, oh yeah, and that's when the best ideas come. And I love traveling and being at hotels because I'll get those ideas in the shower and I'll literally like in the steam of like the glass like sketch it out real quick just so I can like get it in my brain.
Morning.
Yes, it's so magic.
I did.
Yes, it's like the creatives like sketchbook is just in the shower like on a glass panel. You're like, oh man, okay, that's it. That's totally it.
I've never done it before, but I was in the shower and I was looking at the wall and I was like, grow through, and I was just
it's the best creative process.
Okay, so the font that I think I wanted to use, is it this one? I wanted to use a condensed typeface with an expanded one as well because I wanted to play with the widths.
Okay.
And so I think I used one recently in a design. Let me see if it's gonna come up.
So looking for those that are new to typography, looking at these fonts, right? Each set of type, each set of letters communicates different things. So the tall letters feel strong, powerful. Wide letters often feel like they're suggesting something. We have the sans serif, which you're working through right now, which means it doesn't have any of those little pointy things. And you have the serifs, which have the little pointy things, which are better for small sizes, better for reading. But I think for this, we want to go with a sans serif, right?
Yes.
Cool.
I'm gonna go with the sans serif. So a little bit different fonts from yesterday. The feel yesterday was more like bold and expressive, and it had some serifs going on.
Yep.
It was like some thick and thin.
It was really like
areas in
funky.
there.
It had like a little bit of like wobbliness to it.
So I like this font. It's Dharma Gothic. I used it for like this scary movie thing I was working on because it sort of really narrows and it has this like kind of chilling feeling.
Yep.
But I think for the word grow, it's like I want something long. So that's why I wanted to pick a narrow.
It has
font.
that kind of upward momentum.
Yeah. So I kind of actually like how that looks. I'm gonna make it bigger.
Yeah. And we talked about already the plan going in of having something that's tall paired with something that's wide.
Yeah.
Something like this that's very condensed and tall is a great contrast. And again, that's one of those indexes, which we'll be talking about on the Illustrator Daily Challenge, that having a contrast between tall and wide just gives you that information of what's important. It gives you a feel so you can kind of emotionally connect. We talked a little bit on the stream about design basically being a translation of what the heart can feel to what the eye can see. And so working with type with this, you really have to like feel it, right? And we were talking yesterday, we were working and hit a point where we're like, yeah, that feels right. And it may not be right, but if it feels right, that's where we want to go. Hello from Pakistan. Hello.
Hello. I'm half Pakistani. Hello.
There we go.
Okay.
And what are we using for that super thick?
Go. So that's Monument Extended. It's
Yes.
from Pangram Foundry, which I love all
Cool.
of their fonts.
That is great.
Isn't it so good?
Chunky.
I know. So this is, I literally was in the shower and I was like, oh, I'm going to pair this with this. And that was all I knew I was going to do.
Yep.
So, okay, I think for the other ones, I actually want to make this a little bit bigger. Not that big. Maybe like...
Go!
Go! Yeah, okay, maybe a little smaller. Like 115.
So the hotkeys that she's using right now to scale is just hitting the S key, and that will scale, and then you can hit enter, and it will bring up that menu so you can scale it by percentages and turn on your preview so you can kind of see how you are scaling that.
Now I'm wondering if I should do, I'm like not sure if I want to do this font, not that same size because that's going to be too big. Oh, it's 800. Let's try.
Boom. All right, we're getting somewhere.
We're getting somewhere, but I don't know. I think I might, let me see.
And when she's selecting that text to copy it, it is just selecting the text and then grabbing the eyedropper tool with I and clicking on whatever you want to copy.
Yes.
I like that we're aligning, so we're using that rule of thirds, right? To align in the center, and then maybe we'll have some stuff on the sides, maybe we'll add texture, and create that so it really focuses the eye in.
So I like how no, I want to keep it like that. So I'm thinking for this, like I want it to kind of complement everything, but I do want grow and go to kind of be the main focus. So I'm wondering if I should either do, I mean, 3 typefaces is kind of a lot.
Yeah, what if we do what grow is, maybe in like a thinner and italic, so the through has like a motion to it, like we're like moving through something.
And then maybe it's the same size.
It's real stacked in.
This is interesting.
Oh yeah, it's got some super fun momentum. It feels like almost like Nike ad, but like inspirational. Oh man, that gets chunky. That's a great font.
This font has so many. It has 3 different styles.
Oh,
so
with a whole bunch?
Yeah,
Yep.
maybe one of the other ones. Let me see.
I think they're called, there's a name for that. I think they're called super families.
Oh, really?
There's some kind of name for these fonts that come out that have like 90 different things, which is great because you can kind of start to bend the rule of like not using too many fonts because you're like, well, technically it's one font. I'm going to use a million weights of it and it still works together.
Exactly. Oh my God, that's so thick. I love it, but I'm not going to do that.
Oh, I actually super like that.
You like that font?
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
And like it's a nice contrast to what's happening with the grow. Like it still has a similar X height, but it has that like super thick fun. So X height and Y width, I guess it would be. X height is how tall the letters are, and then I guess Y would be how wide the letters are. I know that X is a thing. I may have just made up the idea of Y, but I think it's a thing. Like I think they refer to it as like Y width.
Like, don't ask me. I did take a typography class in college where we made our own typeface. It was so hard.
It is.
Have you made a typeface before?
I have made 7 typefaces.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It's very difficult. It takes a lot of time. And getting like the right, it's very much like, oh, does this feel right? Like there's a lot of technical stuff. You have to inject so much character in it that it has to feel right. And so yeah, a lot of my fonts are very industrial, like thick and punchy, lots of texture.
Yeah.
I kind of want to just make, I don't know, make stuff that you would use very specifically for one specific thing.
Yeah, I remember when I was taking the class, we were like looking at this book of like all the letters, and you never think about, okay, the O has to be a little bit higher. Then you know, it's not actually the same height. Like the top of the O extends past other letters so that it visually looks aligned.
Overshoots. Yep.
Right, and so it's like you don't think about that when you're like looking at, you know, a typeface. So.
Yep, and it's something that visually when you look at it, you're like, oh, everything is symmetrical and the same size. And then you start building it and you're like, oh, the W is definitely wider than an O. And sometimes the O is different than a G. But if you get the base shapes I found, it's easier to build a letter. So if you do a circle shape, a square shape, or rectangle, and a triangle shape, then you can start building out the letters. Because if you have an O, then you can make a G and a P. If you have the P, you can start making an R. If you have an A, you can make the V. And so you can kind of just start piecing things together. Yes, X height is a thing. It is confirmed a thing. It is the height of the letters.
Is Y height a thing? I feel like that when you...
Yes, jury's out on that one. Chat, if there are any typography experts in there, I'm currently Googling to see if I made something up and misinformed you.
Okay. Miss Gori. I'm not from Pakistan, but my dad is from Karachi, so yeah, Karachi.
Hello from Portugal. Hello from Germany. Guten Tag. I don't know if it's morning there. It's probably not morning there.
I don't know.
My last name is German, very German. Hochradel. Oh yes. Cheers. Cheers to Germany. In typography, X height is the distance between the baseline and the line of height and the top. Yes, it is.
Thank you.
I don't think Y width is. I think it's just the width of the letter. Sorry about that. All right, so now we're picking some colors.
Yeah.
And are we doing intentionally? Are we kind of just placeholdering colors? How do we feel about colors?
I'm not doing actually, let's do a placeholder and then kind of do the technique that I did yesterday.
Okay.
Of using the recolor artwork tool.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and this is a new tool to a lot of people, and it's super powerful. I have clients all the time that we do a design and they come back and they're like, oh, can we see it in these 7 different color schemes? And I always think like, oh man, I have to go in and recolor everything, but there's a super easy way to go back in and just recolor everything at the same time. So we'll take a look at that.
These colors are already feeling like kind of nice to me.
Hello,
though.
Denmark. Those are super fun. So, can we go back and bring up this window?
This one?
We have our design, right? And what we're gonna do is we select all of it.
Yeah.
And then where do we go to get to this edit colors?
So it's just right here. It looks like a little color wheel, recolor artwork.
All right.
But in order to, if you want to use colors that you already have, they have to be color groups. So you can't just have swatches. It will not come up.
Okay.
And I mean, otherwise you could, there are all these options. So if you want to use like a complementary color scheme, I don't personally feel like I like these color schemes. I just don't normally go for them.
They get a little bit like neon and vibrate-y.
Right, or they get very dull. And so I just try to pick, like I try to use my own colors. And you can also edit down here. So if I feel like this red is too saturated, I could just edit that. And then I'm just gonna cycle through the colors to find, because honestly, I actually like these colors. They are different than yesterday, but I wanted to do something similar, but I feel like I like where this is going.
Yep.
So I'm gonna keep going with this color scheme and then just see what feels good to me.
Yeah, and maybe we do a couple color variants. And it's like, cool, we have like, if we're doing a campaign, we can put them up as posters and really kind of play with them.
I like that green background, let me see. But then the red kind of gets lost a little bit.
Yeah, it's getting a little vibrate-y with the yellow too.
Okay, let's try a different background then.
Melinda has a great question. I'm curious as to why you make separate type blocks instead of one single type block when you're adjusting the leading between those lines.
Because when I bring it into Photoshop, I want to be able to manipulate the layers separately. So if I want to apply an effect just to one of the words, then I don't want it to affect the entire block of text. And also when it comes to leading, I mean, I can adjust it a little bit, but it's sort of like, for me, it's visual. So I'm looking at it like, what feels right? So yeah, that would be why I'm doing it. And normally, and because it is so many typefaces, it's like I want to just be able to click through and edit that and not have to just select that word.
Yeah, so I do the same thing. It's easier to work with them individually than try to stack it all in one, because I'm going to be changing the size, I'm going to be playing with the fonts, and like we were scaling it, showing how to hit S and use the scale tool. It's much easier to scale one of those words, because if you tried to scale it would scale the whole box, and then you have to go back and redo
it would just
each
get
of the
weird.
words. It gets real weird.
And honestly, with the leading, I mean, I feel like what I have now looks fine. It looks pretty much, for me, I'm just looking like, is it consistent? So I'm looking at the space between like here, 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 and here. And to me, I don't see a problem with it. So
Yeah, and a lot of times what I'll do is I will make like a rectangle between whatever the line is, and then copy it between each line just to confirm this is the same like all the way through. And I think in some of the other Adobe programs, and I actually think it does do it in Illustrator, it will show you when you're matched to another line.
Yes.
I know it does it in InDesign as well, and it's super, super helpful.
Maybe I should make this one red. Maybe I'll make Go the same color red. Let me see.
Go. How to write subscript. I butchered this name yesterday. Hello, it's good to see you again. Akanksha? Yeah. How to write in subscript. You can open up your type character panel with something selected by just hitting Command T. Excuse me. And then there will be a little menu that you can click on for more options, and you can click, there is a button for subscript, and it will push it down into subscript. You can also do superscript. You can do all caps in there. Grow.
What? I was thinking about, I guess I could just do it with the actual, thinking about making grow longer.
Oh yeah. Hello, Andre. Welcome to the stream. We're making a poster today, and we're starting in Illustrator and moving into Photoshop to do some texturing techniques. So we're working with type now, and then eventually moving in to work with texture.
I realized I should do it with this and not the scale tool. So I'm using the vertical scale for text, because when I did scale for the text, it was scaling the entire box.
Nice.
Not the text itself.
Yep.
So.
And sometimes I am a huge fan of stretchy letters.
I know, and they're so. Some
stretchy
people
letters.
hate them, like
Yes.
never stretch letters. I'm like,
Yeah, there have been a couple times that, and you have to be able to understand the rules to break them. And it's like, oh, you should never stretch letters. And you're like, well, if you do it with boldness and confidence and make sure that like the design is still working together,
right?
Sometimes you can do it. And something I'll do sometimes is I'll outline the letters and then rebuild. So on the vertical letters like the G, R, and O, it's super easy to actually like extend those so they become super tall, super tall and strong.
Okay, how are we feeling about these colors?
Chat, how do we feel about colors? How do we feel about this so far? I feel like it's vibing.
You like it?
Yeah. Erica, yes, we are going to be taking this into Photoshop. We're showing you how to leverage multiple Adobe products to create an awesome design. So we're starting in Illustrator to work with the type, get things set, then we're gonna export it into Photoshop to work with a lot of textures.
Okay, so Adobe.
Here we go, hello, hello.
And then I'll go ahead and export it. There's more I could do in Illustrator, but I think I want to play around with it in Photoshop.
Cool,
so.
And then how are we exporting right now?
Okay, so just file, export, and then export as. And then I will save it as a Photoshop file, and then make sure to use export artboards. Use artboards right here.
Okay.
And then click export, color mode, resolution, yes. And then right here, preserve text editability. So if we do want to change the text around once we get in Photoshop, it'll allow us to do that.
Nice. And what size are we working at today?
This is another 24 by 36.
Okay, so we're working big again.
Big again.
Yes, we were doing that yesterday. Working at that kind of size, sometimes in brushes, it will, you'll have to really scale up with the brushes. You can get a lot of really good detail. A lot of people are asking what the fonts we're using are. Can we run back through those real quick?
So this one is Dharma Gothic Condensed. I don't remember where I got that one from, if it's a type kit font or not. I think it is, because it has like the little cloud, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one is Monument. Oh, this one is Monument Extended, and that's from Pangram
cool.
Font Foundry.
And if you're looking for alternatives that if you can't find those on Adobe Fonts, you can use a font called B4, would be a B-E-E-F-O-U-R, would be a good sub for the tall. And then if you're looking for something for the wide, a typeface called Druck, which I'm not sure is on Adobe Fonts, or you can use a full family called Titling. Titling Gothic, T-I-T-L-I-N-G.
Oh, I have that one too.
Yes, Titling Gothic is very similar, and it's a great sub in for some of these if you can't find them.
That's what titling looks like.
Yes, and again, tiling is a super family, so it has like 90 different options.
Yeah. This got so much more brighter in Photoshop. And it's the same color.
I wonder if we're working in different color spaces. Maybe.
No, it's RGB and RGB.
Interesting.
Okay, well, that's fine.
I mean, I'm into it. I'm definitely into it.
Okay, so now that we're in Photoshop, I want to use some textures again, and I think that'll also tone down the colors a little bit, throwing another texture on there.
Yep. And are we going to be doing additive texture again, putting things on top? Cool.
And then also I want to do some text effects, so maybe like waving the lines a little bit, just getting that energy from the text that kind of conveys with the quote.
Fun. Yeah. And we have about 2 minutes and 30 seconds until chat and win. So starting to warm up a little bit. About like maybe 30 seconds in, we'll do some like exercises to get you guys ready for chat and win. But stay tuned. Our prize today for chat and win is a $30 gift card from Moo, I believe. And we will be also giving a code to everyone that doesn't win. There are no losers here. Just people who don't win. And if you don't win, we'll also be giving you a link to get a discount on some Moo stuff.
Nice.
I love their products. They have great business cards.
Yes.
They got all kinds of great printed materials.
I love their stock. So I'm just licensing this wrinkled poster because I remember I was maybe thinking about using it yesterday.
Okay.
But I feel like this one will it'll lend to the design a little bit more.
Cool.
So we're just waiting for that to load. And in the meantime, oh, here it is. Okay. So this is an Illustrator. All right.
Ooh.
Oh, I was like, is it a picture? But here it is.
These are vectors?
I think so. Oh, here.
Oh my goodness. Oh, they're
is
gradient
so
maps.
Nice.
Oh,
Okay.
that is such an intense gradient map. So gradient maps are basically when you take a gradient and you squish it. So think of it as, the best example I can use is like Play-Doh. It's like you have multiple colors of Play-Doh and you kind of move and push to where you want it to be and create these maps.
Oh my God.
That is so intense.
Okay, I'm gonna try this one. And I think I'm just gonna drag it over to the library again and then see if I can manipulate it in Photoshop.
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't wanna use this huge vector because it's probably...
It might get super intense.
Yeah, so we're just gonna use it, and I feel like when you use it in your library, it just links to it, so it's not actually dragging the vector over here.
All right, so chat and win, for those that don't know, is something where you type as much as you can. We'll give you a topic, and during that time, we will pick a winner from someone that has typed. So we got about 15 seconds. Let's do some finger exercises, warm up a little bit. There we go, just getting ready for chat and win. And we are going to run an intro. What should we do for our topic today?
We're gonna do
food trend of the decade.
Yes.
Let's do that. Your favorite food trend of the decade. Let's roll the intro and get to chat and win. All right, chat. Hop in there. Tell us your favorite food trend of the decade. What do you think was yours?
Oh, avocado toast.
Yes, I think mine was froyo. Like it was a little while ago, but there were froyo places everywhere.
Yeah.
The cronut. The cronut was another leader that I was thinking, like that was a hot trend. It's like a donut that's a croissant.
I know Ty. She said cronut 2 days in a row because yesterday she said her favorite donut
She
was
did.
a
She
cronut.
talked about, yes. Oh, Taco Tuesday.
Oh, ramen burger.
Yes. Oh, the ramen burger.
I forgot
yes,
about
I forgot about the ramen burger.
Mine is also oat milk. Oat
Yes.
milk is my new favorite, and that's all I want from now on.
Yes, fried everything.
Ooh, spicy Indian food. Is that a new trend?
Oh, I love spicy Indian food. I'm down. All right, our winner. We have a winner. Isam Ozturk. Isam Ozturk.
You won.
You won.
You're the winner.
Congratulations, you're the winner. I'm sorry, I'm just absolutely butchering names all day today. But you are our winner. You have won a $30 gift card to Moo. If you didn't win, you're not a loser. We have a link for you to get 15% off moo.com/Adobe Live. Doesn't include shipping, but it will give you 15% off getting some new business cards so you can hand them out at conferences, impress people. and go check that out. Yes, anything keto. There were a lot of like diet trends this decade. The keto and like was Atkins. Atkins was like 90s. Atkins was like early 2000s. Yeah.
The paleo diet.
Paleo.
And I
was
think
totally
that's
a
an
thing.
old thing, right?
Yes.
Ooh, that looks so cool.
Wow, that's looking great. And what are we doing here?
So just playing with the blending modes, because I don't know which one I want to do, but I want to still be able to see the text through it, and I like that it's muting the colors a little bit because I got a little bit too vibrant in Photoshop for me. I wanted to like be a little bit closer if I did want to switch it over to CMYK. I don't want to use fluorescent colors, and then it's like it's not gonna look like that at all.
Yeah.
So at least something that can convert a little bit easier. So.
And it's interesting sometimes when you're working in design, you have a good design, and then you want to add texture and you want to give it some character.
Yeah.
And it's translating that back into something that's relevant to the real world.
Yeah.
And so sometimes things that are better like have to get worse. Like you have to like break it down a little bit so it doesn't look as polished, as refined, so that it feels kind of more real world.
How are we feeling about hard light versus, because this is multiply, and then hard light? I kind of feel like I like the hard light.
Yeah, I feel like hard light's giving a little bit more of the vibrancy.
Yeah. Okay.
Erica, we got the mock-ups on Adobe stock. I think we looked for maybe poster mock-ups.
I just looked up texture.
Texture.
And then what I did was I saved them to my library unlicensed. That way I could open them and see what they would look like. Because even if it's not licensed, you can still drag it. And then I can see, okay, this is what this vector grunt textures look like. And then I love just being able to license it directly from the library when I'm ready for it.
So try it. If you like it, buy it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay. So I think I'm gonna try. A lot of people have been doing like those wavy, like wave warped kind of.
Yes,
text.
that's like the hot thing I feel like in design is like making things like quirky
I'm
and
gonna
like
try that.
blobby. Yes,
Try that.
blobby.
So I'm trying to decide if I should do it for the. Yeah, let's do it for the whole thing. And if I go to, let's see.
So again, we've exported out of Illustrator and we have all of our individual layers still in Photoshop so we can mess with those and start working with them.
So if I do, let me see.
While we're looking real quick, just a reminder, we have about an hour for you to work on your daily creative challenges. You can submit them on Behance using the hashtag #PSDailyChallenge, or you can drop them into the Photoshop Discord. We'll be looking at those at the end of this stream in about an hour. And I think the challenge today was using blurs and creating kind of a cut paper texture. We were watching before, and it was super fun to see what they were creating, and I'm looking forward to seeing what everyone else has created.
So I think if I convert them to smart objects, I'm gonna dead to all the text.
Cool. Yes, Melinda, that's a great idea. Sometimes I make multiples of the same texture and apply different effects to them so it can be visible through everything. Yes, so sometimes you have to make copies of textures.
Right.
Sometimes rotating them and using different effects will help as well.
Yeah.
Getting wavy. We're getting some vibes up here this morning.
Someone said doing a wave effect to through would be dope. Okay, let's try that. To both throughs.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 throughs.
This is, oh goodness, what's the song? Ben Platt, I think, just put out a single called Grow As We Go. And
really?
It's about this like concept of like we can continue to grow as we like work through life. And I love that.
So I'm gonna try the wave.
How did we get here? Sorry, I was kind of looking at the screen.
Okay, so I went to filter and then distort because I know I want to distort it. And there's a bunch of different options. So I've been playing with them. You could also see what twirl looks like. Let's see.
Ooh. My favorite one to play with is polar coordinates. It gets like
God.
real crazy.
I have not tried that one. Ooh, twirl's kind of nice.
Ooh.
Twirl does fun things.
I like that it dances when you do the preview. Ooh. Yes, please just like give it a little dance. This is I have done this every morning and my hips just do this before our stream. I do like a little like mirror selfie and this is what my hips are.
It would be cool if this was a GIF and it was like, ooh.
It would be. That's super fun.
Okay, let's see what that looks like. It might throw off. Because everything is so like straight. Oh, that's kind of cool
Yep.
though.
And I wonder even if as we go through, we can start to maybe get the go to like hit that curve going into it.
I like that idea too. Let's try that.
Yeah,
But the opposite way.
Yeah, there's a bunch of ways to do this. Again, that's how Photoshop works. We could go in, we could do an envelope distort, we could do a smudge tool, we can use this tool. There's so many different ways for us to do this.
I don't want to distort it so much that it kind of changes the letters around. So let's just see.
And maybe we can add some accents or some other shapes to like fill those in so it feels like a little more block. Yes, groovy. This is very groovy. I believe, let me triple check this real quick. It very much feels like, yes, a designer by the name of Alfred Roller. Alfred Roller was a designer and he worked with a kind of trend movement in design called the Vienna Secession. And he created some typefaces that had that kind of groovy move to it. Did some work for Ver Sacrum, which was a magazine. And so I love that we're kind of replicating and bringing back a little bit from design history into what we're doing today. So yeah, it looks like this. Can we flip to my screen and I'll kind of show the reference? So this is kind of his work. So it has that kind of funky wobbliness that we're working with.
Yeah.
So yeah, check out Alfred Roller. Absolutely amazing work from past years.
He said you don't want it to look like a CAPTCHA.
Yes, yes. A CAPTCHA design, I love that. That's great.
Okay, let me see. Look at Tim. He said use the warp tool. I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah, we are using the warp tool, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's flip back to your screen and watch that warp. Cool.
Yeah,
so
that's much better.
What's happening here is it's basically making a grid of whatever the shape is, and then you're grabbing the points and kind of moving it. Again, it's like working with silly putty, right? If you would have had something that like you copied on a newspaper of kind of tweaking and moving certain areas.
That's fun.
That is fun.
I'm liking how this is feeling so far.
The colors definitely have like an electric vibe.
Yes. Okay, I feel like we'll do the same thing to through and then maybe make grow come up as well.
Cool.
So let's try that. So I just want to transform warp. Oh, also, when I don't remember like where things live, I always just look it up in help and it'll find it in Photoshop.
It's so great. Like that is one of my favorite things, specifically about working on it on Mac. It has that nice little thing you can type in whatever the tool you want is and help.
Yes.
I don't know if it exists on PC. I can't find it if it does on PC.
Okay.
I work back and forth. My laptop is a MacBook. My home computer is a PC. And so the hotkeys are different a little bit. But what's great is I store all of my files in Creative Cloud. It's like $10 a month. You get a terabyte of storage. So I save everything there so I can seamlessly work back and forth between my laptop and my home computer without having to convert a hard drive, without having to deal with any of that. It's just all floating in a million tiny pieces above our heads, to quote Willy Wonka.
Yeah, I use Dropbox for all of my storage. So like if my computer crashed or anything, I would be fine because everything is in Dropbox.
Yeah, and I love Creative Cloud. Also, you can grab a link just straight out and like send it to clients. So very often, I will create like a brand standards or work on a branding project, and I'll send them directly to the link and like, hey, here's the link to all your files. And it's helpful for me so that if I see something on social media that they're doing wrong, I can upload a file and be like, hey, there's actually a file in that link that I sent you that is better than this, that fixes that problem you're going through. Yes, Marissa, I love that. And the new design trend, CAPTCHA chic.
I'm dead that y'all are calling this a CAPTCHA.
That's a tongue twister. CAPTCHA chic.
Okay. So I'm just trying to get some movement in the word through, and I kind of want it to be similar to this one, but just like in the opposite direction.
Okay, cool.
I feel like that's almost there. And I'm just using my guides. I might make grow extend a little bit more so that W hits the end of that line,
Cool.
since everything else kind of hits it.
Yep, and we're kind of, again, playing with that rule of thirds. Everything in life, our eye is just attracted to thirds, and so we're trying to stay right in the middle using that rule of thirds. To move the text shape, we are using the warp tool. We'll go through how to get there when we are working with grow, making it warp.
Yes. And I'm using the transform tool as well, just to kind of edit where that ends. Okay.
And transform tool is
Command T.
Command T, yes.
You also, right here, if you click show transform controls, anytime you click a layer, then it'll show up, but then it kind of gets in the way, so I don't keep it on all the time.
Cool.
All right, so I'm gonna do that same thing with warp again.
So warp is in image transform warp, or you can just go to help and type in warp.
And we're gonna split it crosswise so that I have more like anchor points to play with.
Yes, Tim, the new warp tool can go up to 22 by 22. You can do all kinds of very specific tweaks if you need to.
I don't need that much of a grid though.
Yes. Warp tool is really great to use too when you're photo retouching. You can do things like extend necks, lower shoulders, really accentuate certain features. It's very helpful, even though you're kind of shifting reality a little bit. Sometimes you need to. Sometimes the visual is not necessarily translated as well from the real world.
Yep. And I know, you know, like I said, some people, they don't like editing like text or warping it, but I honestly think that you can have fun with it and, you know, make it your own.
Yep.
And I don't think I'm manipulating it so much so that it's like completely unrecognizable. So.
Yep. And again, we talked about this earlier on the stream. A lot of design is if it feels right. It's kind of that emotional connection to, this feels like what I want it to communicate.
That's pretty much everything I make. I'm like,
Yep.
It's
feels
there.
Right. It's the aesthetic. It's an emotional connection, which I love about design and visual communication, is you can tell stories and connect and like create like moments in people's lives, which is always super interesting.
All right, so I think maybe this side.
Grow. This is feeling very on trend for what's happening now. Very wobbly and weird and quirky. I do feel like wobbly describes design from what I see right now.
Wobbly?
A lot of wobbly, yeah.
Wobbly's fun.
Wobbly's super fun. Yeah. I love these colors. These colors are just that like reflex blue is super fun.
So I'm thinking, what if we played around with, let's see, what's happening?
Yes, we're like in a club. If you can hear that on stream, there's a club that's just like banging out some tunes downstairs. There's a little bit of construction. So if you hear some tapping, it is either me tap dancing under the table or construction. One of the two, it kind of varies on what's actually happening. So what do we just do here?
Oh, so because it's a smart object, I can double click into it and I can still edit the text. So it's not actually editing the word.
Okay.
If I wanted to turn off this filter because I didn't want it anymore, but with the other one that we did, I can't turn it off as easily, but the text is still inside and editable.
So if we go into the smart object and we edit the text, it will keep the effects we have on it, right?
Yeah.
That's always nice. If you have an effect that you like and you've made a typo, working with this workflow, it's super easy to go back and fix that typo instead of being like, oh no, I need to like completely recreate these letters. Boom, you can just toss that in there and fix that typo.
I was thinking about what if I played with the stroke a little bit.
Oh, that's interesting.
Let's see. I might need a little bit more space between the letters though.
Which we can do, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Or if I do it inside.
Magic.
That's kind of interesting. Do you like that?
I do.
Oh God, no.
Woo.
Let's go back.
You got
Maybe like,
got real chunky.
yeah, maybe like 12. Or
Yeah, we could push to like 20.
Okay, let's see 20. Yeah, 20 is pretty good. Because you still want it to like have an impact. And I also might do like an offset behind it. So maybe like another color, another layer behind it.
Yeah.
Maybe like with a cross hatching or something.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe
know.
we
Let's
like
see.
multiply it so it has like that misprint so you can see the interaction of the colors. Yes.
Let's try that.
And I believe yesterday in the Photoshop Daily Challenge, you guys were working with blending modes. And I remember there were a lot of animals, there were some bows. So we're gonna play with some blending modes here in just a second. You can see how you can make your design interact with itself and kind of play with the colors that are happening by layering them and using blend modes.
Oh, I turned off the opacity of the whole layer. So I'm just gonna go to where it says advanced blending, and I'm gonna turn off the fill opacity, and then I'll just turn the stroke on.
There we go.
I did 20, and then I did inside, and we'll try that. And then I'm just going to duplicate that layer, and I'm gonna put it underneath, and I'm gonna do the same thing with the other one.
And hotkey to duplicate a layer, if you have it selected, is Command J. It'll make a copy of that for you.
And then I'm gonna move it a little bit, and then I'll go and change the blending mode. That's interesting. Okay.
It kind of looks like a wireframe, which is super cool. It's got like a little bit of like a digital tech to it.
And then I think this is the other one.
Ooh,
Okay.
very vibratey.
So I'm gonna go back and turn the opacity back on. Ooh. I kinda like it.
Ooh, that's going somewhere.
And then turn the stroke off. I like that.
See, these are those magic moments where you're like, oh.
Oh, things are happening.
Hello, yeah.
Like about there. Let's just do 50.
Boom. How are we feeling about the offset and the strokes, chat? Are we feeling the interactions? Should we try a different color maybe on that with a stroke?
Maybe.
What do we think? Let us know in the comments to the side. Let's see. We are that way would be the chat. Or that way would be the chat. Let's just do both. Hey guys, comment to this side. Hey guys, comment over here. There we go. Now we got our bases covered. We'll fix it in post.
What post?
We're on a live stream. Oh no, there's no post.
Jordan said they're feeling
Jordan's
it.
feeling it. Yeah, we are vibing. Vibe with us, just the shoulders. Yeah, that's what's happening with the type. That's the... Is it possible to match the wrinkles of the paper with the text? Zombie Army, yes it is. So it is something called a displacement map that is a little more advanced, a little more in depth than I think that we're gonna hop into.
Not doing that today.
Yes, not doing that today. But I actually have a stream the last time I was on doing a texture lab, and one of the days we covered displacement maps. So if you go back into the replays and search, you can find that, and I show you fully how to use displacement maps to follow those curves and how to create a realistic kind of very real world poster mockup that will follow those curves. So displacement maps, or you can look on the Adobe Creative Cloud YouTube page and look for my last stream with the texture lab.
So I feel like I'm trying to figure out what else I want to add. Maybe because you were saying like something around the sides.
Yeah.
Maybe either some lines or even doing like a blend in Illustrator with like some interesting.
Ooh, let's show how to do
lines.
blends.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do blends. So
Okay.
blends are super, super powerful in Illustrator. A very fun way to add some dynamic motion, something a little crazy to your designs if you want. So let's look at blends. Yes, everyone is super excited. Hugo, it's looking good.
Thanks, guys.
SM Oscar Key is our chat and win winner, and he did great. Yes, displacement maps, super cool.
Displacement maps.
Dual channel displacement maps. Oh, whoa, Tim. We're getting really into it. Yes, control the direction of the displacement. Yes, absolutely.
So I'm thinking with grow, I'm like, should something, should it be?
Maybe we have some kind of like flourish or something going up the sides, or
On the sides?
Yeah, something that feels like it's like rising.
Because at first I was like a plant, but that seems too cliche.
Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah, and then maybe we blend, or maybe we start with like a shape or something at the bottom that blends up.
Ooh.
right? Then maybe it like grows as it blends up.
Yeah, maybe like, okay, what kind of shape? Let's do, like,
maybe let's just show the blend maybe with a circle, and then we can figure out what like shape we actually want in there.
Okay.
So we're gonna show you how to do a blend, and then we'll go back and kind of fill in what we want. What's happening right now, it could be cool to do like almost like a topography map in the back that's got like the little like lines and stuff. Okay, let's show them blends.
Let's do that.
All right, so a blend, basically you make two shapes, right? And then what are we gonna do once we've made these two shapes?
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give this one a different color, because basically the blend, whether it's colors, lines, shapes, whatever, it's gonna blend it. So from one shape to the other gradually, on however many steps that you decide or whatever the distance is. And so we have like, let's go from this blue color that we have to that red.
All right, so right now we have two lines. You can see the line that's happening right over here and then the line that's happening up there. And we're gonna select both of those lines. They're different colors, as you can see. And we're gonna select both of them and then go to Object, Blend, and Make. Ooh. And then we can edit that. So right now it's basically has a whole bunch of steps to say, this is where we start, this is where we end, and it's using amazing Adobe Magic Sensei technology, as they say, to go in and figure out how it looks to transition between those two. So going to blend options.
Somebody said that your face is covering the...
I'm a part of the poster.
Okay, I'll move it over.
I'm so sorry. There we go.
There we go.
So we can go to Object, Blend, and then you go to Blend options once you have made the blend. And you can
preview.
Change how many steps, if it's colors, all that stuff.
Okay, so I kind of liked how it looked with a little bit more. And I think also playing with the blending mode, you can do smooth color, which looks really cool.
Yeah, that looks great.
That looks really cool. Let's try that. And then I also like to do trim mode to just see what does the actual poster area look like.
Whoa, okay, what was that you just did? Oh no.
What?
My entire life.
Did you?
All right. So I have been designing for 12 years. And every single time I'm in Illustrator, I make a bounding box that's the size of the artboard, and I put the entire thing in a clipping mask.
The whole time?
And then I go work inside that.
Oh,
yes,
God.
that I.
And you have to double click every single time.
Cannot right now.
No.
Wow.
So if you click trim mode, it will show you what it looks like. And you know what I've done before? I've literally made rectangles that are the size of the background, I mean the color of the background, and put them around the edges before I knew that trim mode existed.
Yes, I've totally done that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a thing. If you
This is
didn't
the
know.
greatest reason to watch these streams is you always learn something. Like I have been using Illustrator for so long and have never used that. And yes, I'm so very excited to actually work like that. Thank you for improving my workflow.
I think that maybe I need to change the color of the bro because the red is getting lost.
Yeah, and it feels like it might be a little dense.
Yeah, okay, let's move. I'm gonna move it down a little bit because I kind of want it to grow to be coming out of the blend.
Yep, I love that. Yeah, and this is a dated reference, but if anyone used Flash like back in the day,
no, they didn't. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, that was like one of my intros to design was animating music videos with like Flash.
Really?
And it's basically the idea of creating what was called a tween in there, and it would basically say, here's where we're starting, here's where we're ending, and then it would fill in the in-between of what that would be. So it would like shift shapes, and that's basically what we're doing at the blend, is it starting one place, finding the in-between, and ending wherever it goes.
So I just want to move this up, because I also feel like if it goes through, that will be interesting.
Yes, that's fun. And yes, Ryan, I had never heard of Trim View either. Yes, everyone's losing their mind about Trim View. I didn't know it existed. That's so crazy.
Learning new things.
Yep, that's funny. When I was starting design, I would make a shape and then just go into effects, go into edit, go into object, and just click all the things to see what they would do. And that's how I really learned design and how to do certain things. And I guess I never got to the trim view.
I mean, they released so many new things with Illustrator too, though. You know, with, like, I think the shape builder tool is relatively new.
Shape
right?
builder is,
within
yeah.
the next last year or two years maybe.
Yeah, we used that yesterday in our Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. We made some donuts and we used the shape builder tool to pop out the donut holes.
Yes.
Have a little extra snack.
Okay. And I also kind of like these little like open lines. And as you can see, you don't actually need closed shapes. You can just do it with lines, which I like doing.
Yep.
We can also maybe try it with circles.
Yeah,
Also,
let's give it a shot. And
yeah.
I really liked where we were going with creating like the typography that's like a little looser, a little like softer.
Yeah.
So maybe let's show how to maybe do a couple options. That we can do another color variant maybe with a different background. So this is me acting as a client. I'm like, wow, I really like where this is going. This is great. Could we see another option maybe? And it's gonna be very easy to change those colors using the color
I can even do that with this blend, which is really cool.
Oh yeah.
It's that you can filter through, and I'm like, these colors are feeling a little bit aggressive, so I'm thinking something that's a little bit more neutral but still plays on the color palette. So maybe if we get into like the yellow.
Ooh. That feels super on trend.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And then maybe for this, instead of, let's see, maybe like in the blue family.
Yeah. It feels in the family.
It feels cool. Okay. Is this feeling too, like, because I could also lower the opacity.
Well, yeah, I wonder if we play with the blending mode.
Yeah. Because it is it's a lot of contrast, and I still want you to be able to see the letters. Like, that's interesting to me.
Yes, that feels very interesting.
Maybe the soft light, and then let's try it with trim mode again.
Magic.
Our favorite tool. That looks really cool. And
it does.
I want this part to maybe not end on the edge of the page. So maybe this ends. Oh, the thing is here. Let's delete that because I don't need these extra anchor points. Maybe this one.
And what's great is we can take this shape and bring it over into Illustrator, or bring it over into Photoshop, place it in the background. Because we already have everything set in Photoshop, we'd export it out of Illustrator. Now, if we're adding an element, we can just grab it and paste it over. And you can do it as a smart object so that it stays editable, so we can go in and change it if we need to.
And so what I was gonna do is I was gonna drag it over to my library.
Oh,
because when you do that, it actually will save it like as a copy. And if I wanted to edit it, I would just double click on the file in the library and it would bring it up in Illustrator.
Yes, libraries are super, super helpful.
I've been really leaning on my libraries lately. All right, this feels good for the blends, and then we're gonna try a different colorway and also a different blending mode, right?
Ooh, yes.
So I'm gonna copy this entire thing. I'm gonna unlock all, and I'm just gonna drag and click again.
Yep. Let's try one without the blend in the background, with maybe some like lighter lines.
Okay.
And see. Yes, trim view. I like that people are still like, trim view is the takeaway from this stream. Like all the things that we've taught you, trim view is the thing.
That is the thing that everyone is like excited over.
And it's so crazy, and I love just being able to like watch other designers and be like, oh, I'm learning things.
Ooh.
Ooh. That got really cool. And then maybe doing like a dark red in the background with the lines. That's super fun. It feels like this color theme, okay. Oh, this is such a bad thing. This color theme feels like it is a Taylor Swift lyric from a song like about Valentine's Day when someone like broke up with her. Right? That it's like got like the pinks and the reds, and then it's like grow through what you go through. It's like, I went through this breakup.
You just compare my design to a Taylor Swift lyric, but
that's true.
It's okay.
I mean, artists of the decade. I mean, we gotta give respect.
Let's try a blend with this. Oh, with a different color. Maybe this is.
Oh yeah.
Not blue, because we have no blue.
Again, recolor artwork, really great way to show clients multiple options, to show designs that are completely different but still the same, and way quicker for you as a designer to be able to show multiple options.
So should I make it strokes, do you think? Because like lines look cool. Let's just see what it looks like with the full.
Yeah. Blend. So again, object blend make. Then we're gonna go in and change those options.
Trim brew is the real NPV.
Yes.
Okay. I like to preview everything. So
Yes.
let's try it with like,
Ooh! And that feels like it's communicating what we want, right? That it's starting in one place and then it's like growing into the lightness or whatever.
I love that.
So something you can do with blends too is as you're going through, if it's creating the effect you want, but you want it to go the other way, you can actually go into isolation mode and click these. Oh yeah, you can do that. Sorry.
Or you can do that.
Yes. Again, there's so many different ways to do things. You can go into isolation mode if you double click in that. And then move whichever shape you want to the background. Exactly.
Right, or the
front or back, and it will flip that. So I love that it's growing from the kind of darker color into the lighter.
I'm gonna see with a different red what that looks like.
Yeah. And again, this is the greatest part about the design process is we were looking at the left one and we're like, this is good. I think we got it. And then we do something and like 5 minutes later, we're like, oh my gosh, this is so much better.
So much better. I love this. Okay. Let me see. I think I'm gonna go a little bit different with that red. Let's see. Not like a darker, but I don't want the pink to get lost.
Yeah, we need to, make sure we're not hitting that pink. Yes, who needs Netflix? Just play with shapes in the blend tool. Absolutely.
That is perfect.
Yep. The Adobe products need like a little thing that pops up that's like, are you still designing? Yes.
Maybe you should stop now.
Yeah, exactly. Take a break.
That's what Netflix should say. Are you still watching? Please go outside.
Yes. I have a couple games. I play my Switch a lot, and I have a couple games that like if you play for too long, it'll be like, what if you take a break and go outside? I think the Wii did that as well. It like pops up. It's like, no, go outside. Look at the real world.
I kind of like it where it goes all the way off the page.
Yeah, I love that.
This feels so good. All right, I also want to try blending modes again, just because I just love blending modes.
Yep.
But maybe we don't need it. Maybe it won't really work. But I honestly like to experiment and see what works for me.
Yeah.
But I think the normal actually, what is that doing? It looks like the ocean. Okay.
That's great. There's, this is kind of a side note. There is an artist, and I don't know if I could find it to share it with y'all, but he did something like this to where he was playing with kind of color stories, and he called it color poetry. And it was very interesting, that there would be a title, and then it would go like between colors and help to like visually communicate a story. That it would be like, my fall, and it would show like different colors that you could kind of make up the story of how you related to it. And it's super interesting, and that blend kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah. So I feel like we're in a good place with what we've done in Illustrator.
Oh, I'm feeling great.
Yeah.
That
I don't
was
even want to
awesome.
add another colorway.
Yep.
Because what if it's like too good? So it's just like we're gonna keep. We're just.
That's always the best like problem. I don't want to continue because it might get way too good.
It was like no, we're just gonna stop here. Okay, so I'm gonna go and add in because I just dragged this from my library, and now I just want to scale it. I think I had it. Yeah, I had it going through the word through, so I'm gonna just expand it again.
And we're back into Photoshop now. So we're working seamlessly between Illustrator and Photoshop by using our libraries, which is super helpful.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Let me zoom out. And this is a vector, so I can scale this as much as I want.
Scale infinitely.
All right.
If you're working on your daily challenges, 25 minutes left to start playing with your daily challenges. Submit them on our Photoshop Discord, or you can submit them to Behance using hashtag PSDailyChallenge. And a couple of people were having problems tagging as they uploaded. It will be the third tab as you upload. It will have a little thing for tags for you to tag in there.
We're
Adobe
just
and Chill.
very slowly
Yes, and
placing this document.
we are placing a smart object of a very intense blend onto an artboard that is 24 by 36. So it is definitely
Here we go.
pushing the limits of what maybe our computers can handle. My computer is a 2013. And when I do stuff like that, it like sounds like it's taking off to the moon.
Okay.
It's ramped up because it's just old.
There are ways to work with smaller files and for it to not be as large.
and-
But if you're like me,
We want to work how we're going to work, and so
Yeah.
this is set. If we wanted to print it, we could print it. We also, for demonstration purposes, could do it smaller.
Yeah.
But we want it to be able to be printed.
so what did I do for the blend mode? I did soft light. So let's do that because I think it lost it.
Soft Light.
Ooh, I really like that.
Yeah, it sounds like the name of like a band from the 80s. Like I could listen to a single by Soft Light.
That's a good band name. That's our band.
Yes, that's our band. Soft Light.
I'm gonna go down a little. I'm gonna print this out as a poster in my house.
Yes.
So fun times.
This is looking fun.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna open the other one in Photoshop, and I'm going to play around with the other color that we made.
And when we got our textures from Adobe Stock, we had 3 options, right? So maybe we'll put
try the
another
other
one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. And also maybe I can try like one of the textures that I got yesterday as well, or one of the grunge textures.
Yeah, and start adding some additive texture on top. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Maybe even some brushes if we have time. We got another 20 minutes.
Maybe cause I really liked the halftone brushes yesterday.
Yes, we were having fun.
All right, so I'm just gonna save this one, and then I'm going to open the other one that we made already. Cool. Grow poster, I saved it as 2, okay.
Yes, Tim, refusing to open larger files. My laptop does that sometimes. I'll have moments where I'm at home and I will remote from my laptop into my PC so that I can open a file and work on it on my PC. And I'm just using this as a tether. There we go.
I had deleted all the layers, but then I closed it because I didn't think I needed it again. So I'm gonna go just and also hide this text. All right, which one should we use? I used this one. No, this one.
Yeah, maybe use the middle one.
Super wrinkled one.
Yeah, let's do the super wrinkly.
All right. So wrinkly. Oh, libraries.
Wrinkles, wrinkles. So we're just dragging this into our library so that we can use it seamlessly between Photoshop and Illustrator. You can see how quickly it syncs and just drops right in there.
Yep, and then I just scale, and then I'll play with the blend modes again to get something that feels good, or even like a color overlay or something. Let's see. I'm really liking this wrinkled paper.
Yeah,
look.
It definitely feels really cool.
Like if you were to, what is it, wheat paste? If you were to wheat paste it, I feel like this is kind of what it would look like.
There's a way, and I think it's in blending options, to have it so that it blends if it is close enough to a certain value of light to dark. And maybe we'll take a look at that tomorrow, later. I'll take a look and see. I know that there's a way to do it. I don't remember exactly how. But it's really great when you're working with subtle things like this. Instead of doing a displacement map, you can do it so that it kind of merges and goes in.
I feel like we're losing this go a little bit.
Yeah, the pink down there got kind of weird.
So maybe let me do a color overlay.
Yeah, which is great because we've exported this out of Illustrator into Photoshop and everything is still editable. Yes, you can grab these poster mockups on Adobe Stock. I believe we just searched for texture.
Yeah, I just looked up texture. Yep.
And they are Illustrator vector files of gradient maps that you can use to the biggest size. Yes, it's called the Blend If tool. That's what it is.
You guys are teaching me things.
Yes, it's very powerful and takes a little bit to get used to, but look that up, do a little research if you want to play with the Blend If tool.
All right, so I changed that to like a little bit of a darker purple or pinkish, which is just a little bit deeper hue of what we have here. And I like using red and pink together. I think it's interesting. It's kind of trendy right now.
Yeah.
So
very vibrant, very fun.
Yeah. All right, so let's get either, this is a retro grunge texture. I'm gonna see what that looks like. And I think I used one of them yesterday. I think I used this one. This one has a lot going on, but that might be interesting. So I'm actually just gonna grab like 2 of those. I'm gonna grab this one.
And we can use these in a color, we can use these in black and white, and then play with blend modes to really add on top of the base that we've created in Photoshop. Fuchsia, yes, Jordan, fuchsia.
Okay. So let's do, I'm gonna try this like very grungy.
Super intense.
This might be too much for what we're going for, but you know, you don't know until you try it.
Yeah. And what's great is if we want to, we can drop this behind the text, we can put it over the whole design. We can kind of pick and choose where we want it. I think it's kind of cool.
That is interesting, add some texture. Okay, I'm gonna try the other one as well and see which one we like better. A little bit, it's just this tiny speck. Okay. And maybe even a color overlay for this. Let's try. Ooh,
that got interesting. And maybe putting it behind the text so the text sits on top.
Yeah. Okay, let me just try some blend modes.
How to change the artboard color. You actually, I don't think, can change the artboard color. I usually just put a shape in the background that is a different color. Or in Photoshop, you can use the paint bucket tool to fill the background with whatever color.
You can actually make a fill layer in Photoshop. I will.
Yes. Yes, you can. Yeah, we'll show you how to do that to make a fill layer in Photoshop.
Layer, new fill layer, solid color. And then you just click OK. They only have a couple color options here. And so then you can select your color.
Yep.
And you can change it really easily. Yep. So you can use the what is it called? The photo bucket tool? No, the photo bucket. The paint bucket
tool. Bucket tool.
You can use that.
Yes, but which is Command K.
Right, or you can just use this, and then you can just change it easily.
Oh, I lied. It is just K. Command K will bring up your options.
K. Yes. Yep.
And yeah, you can just drag that down below your layers if you want to, and that will change your background for you.
Wait, K is frame tool.
G.
Yeah, G. Okay.
Yep.
All right. And then I have this texture on the top, and let's do. I made it pink. I might just lower the opacity, but I wanted to see.
That's fun. Oh, even white, doing some subtractive texture.
Like white.
And then putting it into the background, like it's been wheat pasted up, and somebody came by and like brushed it with something.
Let me put it all the way. Here we go.
Oh yeah, so you can also set the background color when you're doing a new document. When you're opening something new, you can just set it and it will make that a certain color for you.
Oh yeah, and for Illustrator, you would just make a rectangle.
Yep, yeah. And then you can lock it hitting Command 2, and that will just lock it so that you can't mess with it. So that way as you're working, you're not selecting the background and just moving it all over the place. All right, about 15 minutes for our Photoshop Daily Challenges. Be sure to submit those on the Discord. I'm gonna pop in there and take a look and see. Oh, there's some good stuff happening here, guys. We're not gonna look at it yet.
Oh, we're not looking. I'm
getting a little preview. There's some good stuff happening here. Oh, some more animals from yesterday doing the blend modes. Y'all are killing it.
Oh, you know what would be fun?
What?
If I did kind of the same thing I did yesterday with some brushes and added a little bit of depth to the font, to like the word grow, maybe adding a little bit of a darker color, doing almost like stippling or the halftones. I feel like that would be really interesting.
You know what would be really cool too would be like on where it has what you, where that circle comes down of like masking underneath it and maybe adding a shadow so that it has some dimension so it looks like the background's kind of like layering over.
So masking and how?
So we would, make a mask and then, brushing out maybe where it's overlapping on top there or something so where it looks, where the pink is coming over at the top.
Oh, here.
So take away and then maybe adding like a little shadow so it looks like it has like some double dimension.
That would be cool.
Right?
And I just made a really quick mask right here. If you just click this little button to make a mask, and then you just use white, because I'm drawing it back, and then black if you want to take it away. And that way you're not actually erasing anything. Yep,
and it's hiding behind the feedback countdown. But down at the bottom of your layers panel, there is a little, it's basically a rectangle with a circle in it, and that is going to give you a mask. There we go. So right there in the middle, the little rectangle with a circle in it will give you a mask, and you can paint away using black and paint in using white. So it kind of just goes back and forth.
And I'm sure there's an easier way to do this, but I personally just like drawing. I also can use my tablet as well.
I do too. There's a lot of ways to do selections, to quick mask, to kind of find and then mask out. A lot of times I find myself ending up going back and doing it by hand because it like does it right, and I'm like, yeah, this is right. And then my brain is just like, I'm gonna go and just like change this little thing here and there.
You know what? It lost the T, so I'm gonna bring it down. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit and then redraw it so that you can see.
And you know, we love the T.
We love T's.
We love T.
Where's T? Okay.
Oh, it's very tall.
The T is tall.
It's a tall T.
But I feel like we're not gonna be able to.
Oh, we're gonna completely lose the T. Yeah, you're right.
All right. Yeah. It was a cool idea.
There you go. That's what design's about. You chase a dream and watch it fail.
Watch your dream die.
Watch your dreams die.
Because then you won't be able to, it'll just say, wah.
Yeah. Why you?
Why you wah? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I was gonna do some, we're gonna do some stippling. So, with a brush,
get
because
that
I'm not
texture.
doing individual dots.
And we're working with Kyle T. Webster brushes again?
Yes.
Yes.
So I wanted to add it to grow first, because there's so much space here. I feel like I can get some really interesting depth going on.
Yep.
So
And how are we gonna work to get texture just on that?
So I'm going to create a layer over top of it, and then what is it called when you have? Is it a clipping layer? Like a clipping mask to the layer?
Yeah, I think it's clipping. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do we make it so that it clips just to that layer?
You hold Alt or Option,
Yep.
and you just click below.
Yep. So you can see how it changes to have the little arrow down, and that means that whatever's on that layer is going to only affect the layer below it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you want to take it off, you just hold Option again.
Yep. Very helpful if you don't want to do a clipping mask. You can just make it so that it only paints on that.
Yeah. So that way, I can literally draw all over, and it will only draw on the word grow.
Yep.
So
Same in Illustrator as the draw inside.
Yes.
Yep,
I like clipping masks.
Yes.
So I'm going to go back to Kyle's brushes. These screen tones are kind of cool. So I'm going to try that. And I want maybe the same color as Go will be interesting.
And again, we're working in a very large size, so these brushes will probably look fairly detailed, but we'll kind of zoom in to show a little bit of that texture. Any shortcut to bring an object behind all? Yes, it is Command-Shift-Left bracket. So Command-Shift and then the key right next to P, that bracket.
It's not actually showing how, maybe it's too big. Let me see. Oh, no, it is.
Yeah, we're working in a very large size, and so that halftone is probably going to be
very tiny.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go pick a different halftone because I feel like the ones we used yesterday were really good. Really
oh yeah,
effective.
they were great.
And I have so many brushes.
And if we want to, we can go into the brush settings and change the scale of it if we can't find the right brush.
Okay. But I think he has some really
oh
large
yeah,
ones.
these are very large. Yeah.
I kind of liked these broken lines.
Yeah. It's like a
What does that
weird
look
like crosshatch
Yeah.
kind of vibe.
I think I do need to change the
Oh yeah,
scale.
yeah. So let's go in. So with brushes, you can go in and change the settings if you like. I believe it's right up next to. Oh yeah, you can.
It's like over here somewhere, right?
Yes.
The brush panel.
And I believe it's that little folder with a brush on it. I believe you can change the settings. Yep. And then over on the left, there should be a scale. Sorry, it's small on the size that I'm looking at. Oh yeah, it's somewhere in there. Maybe it's that's just gonna change the size.
Let me see.
Build up. I need to open Photoshop on my computer. Look, what's a command?
Well, I actually like that.
Only
I made it
affect layer
bigger.
below. Oh,
That looks cool.
yep.
We're gonna make it
Only
huge.
affecting the layer below. You just click between the two layers and hold. I believe it's Command. It might be Option. I believe it's Command, and it will link those together.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to place. It almost looks like it's like bubbly, like it has like that like dimension to it by having the shadow at the bottom and then the highlight on top.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna change the opacity a little bit, and I'm on big dots wonky.
Wonky is one of my favorite words.
And I think I'm just gonna keep layering a couple of these textures so that the bottom has more of a heaviness,
Okay.
but also has like an interesting texture.
Which is great with what we're doing, communicating the word grow.
Yeah.
It's having that base and then like lifting to a new place. So we talked a little bit about indexes and having an index that gives information to having a darker color on bottom and a lighter color on top actually makes things look taller and bigger. And actually, at Disneyland Paris, I believe, when they built the castle, this is a little side story, when they built the castle, it couldn't be as tall as they wanted it. And so they designed it specifically so that the color scheme is the same, but at the bottom, all the colors are darker. And as it moves up, the color scheme gets lighter and lighter, and it makes it look much taller because it looks like it's just further away because the colors get lighter.
Oh, here
So,
we go, scale.
Scale, that's what we wanted. We found it.
Yay! Okay, I'm gonna make that bigger.
Took us a hot second, but we got,
Ooh.
yes! That's what we wanted. We have arrived there.
I like that a lot.
Great. I'm glad we found it. Thanks,
Me
Kyle.
too. Oh, I was like, Kyle. Yes.
That's great.
That looks so good. And I think also if I do, oh, it's on scatter.
It feels like bubbly too, like it's like effervescent with like the little.
Yes, that's exactly what I want. And then I'm gonna add it to the other letters as well, and maybe even a little bit of white at the top,
Oh yeah,
but like smaller, because it should go from bigger to smaller.
yeah, that's super fun.
It is.
Especially because grow is so big, having those
Yeah.
thick halftones.
Okay, and let's add a little bit of white at the top. So I'll just change my brush to white.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna go back to texture and scale it down a little bit.
Hey Shauna, thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out. Shauna also has great brushes, along with some of these kind of styles. She has some great chalk brushes. If you want to go check those out, I believe she probably has them on her Behance page. So if you want to hop over there, she's got some amazing brushes that you can use to add textures like this to your designs.
And I'm gonna turn the opacity down a little bit.
Also about 8 minutes until our feedback for daily challenges. Imitating, thanks for posting. I see yours in our Discord. And PMAC, I see yours in there too. Imitating has been hopping back and forth between Photoshop and Illustrator doing both creative challenges. So
Ooh.
thank you for doing that. If you're not in our Discords, hop into those and subscribe to the daily challenges. We are learning new things every single day. Yes, a couple comments coming in. Wow, we love the halftone.
Yay!
We're doing great.
I like the halftone a lot. I feel like it's adding a lot to that word.
Yeah, it just gives it a whole new dynamic and is giving us new information
Yeah.
as we look at it.
So let's bring that opacity down again, and then
Hello, Mark, Barcelona. One of my favorites. There's a song I know with Barcelona. That's great. From a musical called Company. Yeah, some light halftones. Those are really fun.
yeah. I don't want it to be like too much, so I'm just kind of going back a little bit, and honestly, maybe really big is cool.
Yeah, and we're again using a layer and we're painting on top of whatever that type is, and it's made to set to just clip to that layer.
Yeah. He said learning amazing.
Yes,
things,
the trim view. I like that we talked about.
That's the hero of today.
Yeah, we talked about trim view like 20 minutes ago, and it's still like the thing. It definitely has completely changed my workflow.
Okay, now I feel like I want to add something to go as well, because go feels a little like stagnant.
Yeah, and it feels like it's like merged with the background a little bit. So yeah, hitting it with some.
You know what might be cool? Maybe if it was like a couple of layers of go behind it, and it kind of like fades out a little bit. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
on the right and the left,
And
and
it's
then
got-
like another one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try
Let's do
that,
it.
and then
Let's
also
try
with
it.
the texture.
Yeah, let's give
Because
it
we got a little bit of time.
a shot.
Okay.
That's what design's all about. Just try it, and if you hate it, then delete it.
Delete it and pretend like it never happened.
Exactly.
So I think maybe like here, and then I'll do another one. I also use the, you have to make sure
I was looked, yep.
layer's not locked. So I'm not gonna do that. All right.
Wake me up before you go. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. And then I'm gonna move this one over, and this may not work at all, but you never know. So I'm gonna move these, and then move the opacity. I feel like that doesn't look how I wanted it to.
Yeah, it got a little funky.
Yeah, I don't like that.
What
All
if
right.
we make it a stroke?
Yeah, we could try that because we already have some strokes.
Yep,
going
and then
on.
it has like the momentum. And yes, K. Cervantes, you totally got it. Speed lines are indexes. Those lines help indicate or give us information of what's happening to something else. So yes, speed lines are indexes. Tune in at 2 o'clock. We will be doing the Illustrator Daily Challenge for today, and we're talking all about indexes and how to give actual extra information. If you want to get a jump on that and a little bonus, research a designer named Anton Stankowski, A-N-T-O-N Stankowski. A little extra credit. We'll look at him at 2 o'clock. He uses indexes to communicate complex processes. Watching from Brazil, hello. We have a couple friends from Brazil today. Alif D'Angelo, welcome to the stream. We're making a poster today, and we have played with all kinds of things, but the one thing that is the takeaway is the trim view. We've learned so much, but trim view is the magic. We absolutely will be using that in all of our workflows going forward.
I'm so happy that is the takeaway. So I'm thinking about doing a gradient overlay from one side to the other. And what does it look like without that stroke? Okay.
You could use a blend in Illustrator. Yes, we were working with blends a little bit earlier. We actually have another poster, a variant of this that has blends on it.
Yeah, we'll show you.
We'll show you what that looks like. Bear, it is awesome. It was super fun. 3 minutes to daily challenges. Submit your daily challenges. Yes, Tim, there's been a lot of singing on stream. Maybe we'll have some more later today. We'll see what happens. It ends up flowing through me. It just happens.
You could use Blend in Illustrator. Oh yeah, I wasn't really trying to blend it. I more so just wanted to see like what it would look like, but I don't know if I'm liking it. And honestly, it's okay if something isn't successful. Like it's
Yeah, if you try it and if you don't like it, then you shouldn't force yourself. If it's not saying what you want it to,
Right.
then why say it?
Yeah, this is not adding anything to me, so I'm gonna delete that, and then I'm gonna go back to adding, what did I say I was gonna add? Like some texture to go.
Yep. Oh, yeah, playing with a motion directional blur could be interesting.
Ooh, let's try that. That might be fun.
So that is in filter blur, and then you can do directional motion blur.
Motion
that's what
blur.
it is.
Convert it to a
Smart object. And here you can change the orientation and the angle that it's blurring at. Again, we're working at 24 by 36, so it's having to process a lot.
My computer's doing pretty good though.
Yeah, we're doing it. So you can see now as we change the distance, can we take it all the way up? You can see that it is pulling in that direction. If we change the angle, it will actually start pulling in different directions with that blur.
So maybe that with a little bit of a stroke over top might be
Yeah,
interesting.
so it locks it in, so
Yeah.
it has the motion and then it locks it in as well. And yes, we could use path blur for more options as well to make curved blurs. That gets really crazy.
That's so cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that we're trying things, and Tim, who has like an insane knowledge, is like, there are crazier ways. Like he's living in the year 3000.
Yeah,
That's what's
Tim,
happening,
we're
yes.
not there yet, okay?
We'll get there eventually, but yeah, Tim has some great suggestions. If you want to play with those, definitely Google, look up some tutorials about how to work with those. If you want to level up your design, again, it's so great to hop into the Adobe programs and just go through the menus and see if you can break stuff and click on everything and find things like a path blur that could completely change your workflow, or the trim view that will absolutely destroy everything you've known about design.
Oh my God, the one thing.
Yes.
My legacy.
All right, about a minute to get your daily challenges in. There are a few in right now, so it may be a quick review. We'll look at some of the ones yesterday, only because I absolutely love all of the animals that you guys use. So we may go back, do a little throwback to yesterday's challenge, but we will also be looking at the challenges from today in about a minute. And then we'll come back and work on some more of finishing up and buttoning up this poster. Yeah,
These
it helps lock it in.
posters.
Posters, yes, we
Plural.
have multiple options. Can we show? So this is the one with the blend. I believe Aber was looking for using a blend. We used a blend. This is one variant of our poster, and me as the client, I was like, this is great. Can I get another one? And so we did another variant that maybe these could be a campaign, and we could run them through different options, which would be really cool.
And also, I liked how we did the warp here, but I wanted to try a different option. So I really like the feeling of that blend in the background, because this is a blend as well.
Yes, it's got some super fun stuff going on.
That feels good. All right, I'm gonna add some more texture to go.
All right, and it is time, 15 seconds to get in your daily challenges. I'm going to be pulling those up right now when you give me a few seconds, and we will hop over and give some feedback.
3, 2, 1.
Let's see, I am trying to sort by most recent. There we go, this week, got it. All right. Do you want to look at some submissions?
Yes.
Let's do it. All right, let's hop over and we're going to start in our Discord. If you aren't in Discord, definitely join us, bit.ly/PS Discord. Can we throw that link up, Paco? I forgot the link. I'm a bad host. I'm so sorry. There it is. I got it right. I totally got it right. bit.ly/PS Discord. Hop in there. We are posting daily challenges. And let's take a look at some of the daily challenges from today. Yes, our poster size 24 by 36.
Yep.
So today, I believe they were playing with, Gaussian blurs and creating a shadow box effect.
This is so fun.
Ooh,
so
this
some
is
koi
very
fish
fun. Yeah.
there?
Yeah, some koi fish. I love the white on white.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, and we looked earlier, if you were watching the stream, at Alfred Roller, and I mentioned that he designed for Ver Sacrum, which was a magazine during the Vienna Secession. We're getting a little historic here. And they were the very first to do white on white embossing. And so they were very big about pushing the limits of design. And so instead of printing with ink, they thought, what if we just did white on white? So this is a great example of that. Topaz, don't be nervous about submitting. Drop it in Discord. We'll take a look at it.
We're all friends here.
We're all friends here. We have made all kinds of mistakes in our process and changed things as we went. So toss it in if you're not super confident about it. That's fine. It's a process. We're all just learning and having fun. No wrong answers in design, just different.
Give me some weird lines on the screen.
Let it snow. Yeah. That's all right.
All right.
Let it snow. Love this. Any feedback? Any
It's like
thoughts?
it looks like a postcard.
It does look like a postcard. Like I would send this to a family member during the holidays.
The only thing I would say is because this snowflake is so thick, I almost feel like the type should be a little bit thicker as well.
Yeah.
Because you almost lose the message with, how thin it is.
Yeah, and maybe even playing with the orientation of that type.
Yeah.
The placement feels a little bit close to the edges for me. So maybe making it a little bit thicker and then even kerning it in or making it a little bit smaller to fit in that shape.
Or even if it was like let it was a little higher and up and then snow was under it just to fill that space a little bit better.
Let it snow, yeah.
Yeah.
When designing stuff like this, it's really helpful to think of things as simple shapes. So think of the snowflake as a square and then think of the type as a rectangle, and that will help you with your placement.
Also, just thinking about like the white space.
Yep.
So the white space that's left around it is, what shape does that make as well? So like what you were saying.
Exactly, yeah. Another revision, double the piece, move it slightly to give more appearance of layers.
Oh, I actually do like this. I feel like this is an improvement.
Yep, I do. I like that the water here has a little bit. I don't think the water here had as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely feels like you got more dimension on these.
Stronger.
And it looks like maybe there's a little bit of an inner shadow as well to give it that beveled look. Great job, absolutely.
I could see that as like a woodcut.
Yes. Hello, Brazil. More people from Brazil. Brazil is in the house. Nice. Ooh. Moving here, Leah Michelle. Owl Illustrator made and turned him black and white. Super fun.
That's such a cute little owl.
What I love what you're doing here too, and you can see it closer on my screen, is you've added some texture to the shadow that you've been using. That's very fun, and it helps to give almost that like really like papery kind of tactile feel.
I like the layers too. You can see that there's like multiple layers.
Yeah.
What's in the corner? Like a little smiley face or something?
Up here? I think it's a moon.
Oh.
Yeah, we've got the moon like shining through.
I love that.
Any feedback? Thoughts, changes?
The only thing, like the owl, it looks a little bit different than the other elements, but I know that's because you made it in Illustrator. But I think it's really cute. So just, maybe thinking about how does that like tie into the rest of it?
Totally.
Or is it meant to stand out? But that would be my only.
Yeah, and even adding, I think thinking about creating this shadow box effect, it looks like you're using a lot of drop shadow, and make sure that you think about
the direction,
where your direction is going. Yeah, and you can make a setting, I believe it's global lighting, that will match all of your shadows and directions straight through. It's a moon, yes, it's a moon, work in progress. But it looks like your shadow from the top is coming straight down, and then your shadow from the side is coming down this way. So maybe match up those shadows, or even just use another layer in the back and blur it out so that it has an even blur around the outside, or do an outer glow. Yes, keep working on it, keep going. Everything is in process.
Someone just said we went to the same school. You went to the University of Baltimore?
Hey.
Okay, let's continue.
All right, let's take a look at a couple from yesterday. Super fun. We were working with blend modes yesterday. This is a very clean mask.
Yeah, it is.
Great job getting that out. And this is probably a multiply or maybe a color overlay on the edge to create the interaction between the two.
The only thing I would say here is I would maybe work on your scripting a little bit with the typeface or with the lettering, and you can always use a font. Like if you
there's a really great font for using holiday and creating things like this. I believe Jessica Hish made it, and it is on Adobe Fonts. It just got added called Tilda. And I think that it's the font that they use in the opening titles of Moonrise Kingdom.
Okay.
I want to say it was Moonrise Kingdom. It might have been Grand Budapest Hotel. One of those.
Oh, I love that.
And she created it. It is on Adobe Fonts. Absolutely beautiful to use for your holiday cards. Another great job.
Look at the happy snowman.
Fun. I love the layers here that you've created as well. Of probably stars are one layer, the snow is one layer. Snowman looks like it's been masked out.
I just thought it was one photo, so that looks great.
It might be, yeah. And this right here, I can tell that you added in. This is probably an overlay to create where the light is coming from. Great job being aware that the highlights are happening here and here, so that your light has to be coming from the middle. My only suggestion would be to change this to an overlay, change this to a soft light so it isn't quite as harsh. The color of the piece is very blue, but the sun is very yellow. And so maybe adapting that so the colors fall a little bit closer together. Where have you learned from? Oh, that's a great question, Abby. Where have you learned to design from? School, practice?
Well, like I said, I've always been interested and I've always been learning on my own. So even in high school that I went to, it was a magnet high school. So I learned Illustrator and Photoshop and InDesign in high school. We also had a full printing press there. And then college, I continued to learn. And now that I'm out of college, it's been on the job where they expect you to just know how to do everything. So you just have to figure it out.
Yep.
And then also a lot of teaching myself as well. So now that I'm out of school, no one's teaching me how to do anything, but I still want to continue to learn like Premiere and After Effects, and I know a little bit, but I think like it's great even watching stuff like this. You learn so much.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I feel like this is like a great place to learn from as well.
Yep. Yeah, and I was kind of same way. Started out. I think I started out in yearbook. And I had to edit photos, and I was like, oh my goodness, like Photoshop. Yeah. And then I did yearbook, newspaper, got really into layout. I started in InDesign, which I feel like is backwards for a lot of
who starts in InDesign?
I know. Like my first program was like conquering InDesign, and then eventually, moved into other design programs because I had to like leverage them to go into InDesign, and then have just moved on from there.
That's awesome.
Oh, playing with a 600 DPI file on the desktop. Oh boy.
Oh, no.
That'll be very intense. Great job with these daily challenges. Definitely come in and start submitting those as you finish them to our PS Daily Challenge on Behance. Make sure you tag it. We're gonna open this because it's super cute. Look at this puppy.
Oh my gosh.
Great job, James Nelson. It looks like here with the bow, you were maybe working with 2 different DPIs or different sizes. The bow looks a little bit pixelated or blown up, or maybe you used a soft brush here, refining this edge a little bit harder so you can see better on screen.
Yeah.
What would you suggest to get a harder edge on this?
So yeah, it looks like they did maybe the Gaussian blur on the entire bow, right? So maybe just doing it on a background layer, and not doing it on the entire bow, because I would imagine it didn't look like that. But I mean, you could sharpen it if it's already a little bit, if it's already like blurred, you could sharpen it, or
You also probably could make a selection and mask it, and then bring the edges in.
Refine it, contract it, like I was saying yesterday.
We were talking about that yesterday, of contracting it so you lose a little bit of the edge, but it'll make it clean. Or even increasing the contrast. Doing a nice contrast on that layer. Let's look at one more here, and I think these are from a couple days ago. Oh, let's look at this one. So I believe they were doing a stained glass effect, right? This is from Xanthil a couple days ago. Super fun. I love what you're doing with the colors here and how some of the lines carry through to really create like that dimension. And I love how they're interacting here.
Same. I almost thought at first that it was like a reflection, which maybe it is, but maybe it's not because it almost has that horizon line. But it looks really cool. And you know what? It don't, because it's a circle, so it looked like it was reflected. But
yeah, and it's very like icebergy.
Yeah,
like
it looks like an iceberg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
This is great. Great job. All right, let's hop back. If you haven't done your daily challenges, make sure to finish those up, submit them. We will have mentors in there giving you feedback in our Discord. We also have daily challenges coming up for Adobe Illustrator today at 2. If you want to, you can go to behance.net/challenge/illustrator and subscribe to our daily challenges here as well. We will be reviewing those at 2 o'clock and having our lesson today about indexes, which will be super, super fun. All right, let's hop back over and work some more on this poster. We got about 15 minutes left on our stream, so let's get back at it.
Yes. So I think I just want to add a little bit of texture like I was doing earlier. I want to scale it.
And how are we using the brushes, right? We're working at a very large size. People were talking about working at large sizes. How are we scaling these brushes to make the halftones the size we want them to?
Okay, so we went into the texture. We're in the brush settings. I went into texture, and I'm scaling the texture because at the original size, because it's so large, you're not really going to be able to see the dots in it, and I want you to be able to see the halftones. So you can already kind of see right here. I'm just going to undo that because I don't quite want it that strong, but I'm going to play with it and maybe even increasing. Ooh. I like that. I want to crease it a little bit more. And I dragged in this red because we haven't used, I want to use like the red a little bit.
Yep.
And let's maybe do.
I like how it's kind of blending with the background a little bit. Like it has that cool overprint texture.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I really love, I love using textures in my work. So this is like really fun to me and it feels like really expressive. And I think it has like the energy of the text. So yeah, I'm really liking how this is turning out. And we're getting a little slower because
we're working at 24 by 36,
right.
And anytime you're brushing, especially with a complicated brush like this at this size, it like takes a hot second to go through. Depending on your computer, if you have a super powerful like gaming or streaming PC, it'll probably be lightning fast.
Yeah, I mean I have a newer laptop, so I can work a little bit bigger. But it's still, because now we actually have this other file open. So I'm going to close that one as well.
So Abby, the satin effect is used for simulating lighting if you're working to create like a metal or glass surface. And I didn't know that off the top of my head. I literally Googled it and I just read you what the description was.
I feel like I never used satin.
I never use satin either. So yeah, sometimes you don't know things and you can usually look things up. There's just an amazing repository online. But I figured I'd take a second and fake it like I know all the things, but I do not know all the things. There are a lot of questions that I'm like, I don't know how to do that. Like the trim view that happened today. Absolutely blow my mind.
That's still not over that. That's so funny.
Yeah.
I just like the fact that this is called Squiggle Bop. So for that reason alone.
Again, band name. Can we change our band name to
I like Squiggle Bop.
Yeah, Squiggle Bop.
Swiggle Bop is the new name.
That's great.
And I think also adding a little bit of the darker color, and I'm just using the right bracket to increase the brush size. That was intense. Squiggle Bop is doing a lot. All right, I'm gonna lower the opacity, and also remember you were talking about the hardness yesterday.
Yes.
So I'm gonna lower that so it just gets a little bit softer.
A little softer, yeah.
And we're gonna add just like a little bit of texture at the bottom.
Oh yes, and we can decrease the lag by increasing the spacing, so it's not as dense, and it will go a little bit faster. Also, PMAC, I see here as we change that, if we can flip to my screen, we changed our poster. We took the feedback, so much better, right?
It is better.
Yeah, so we got the flow, we got the dimensions, we got everything, played with the white space. So great job taking that feedback. Really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, that looks great.
Great job.
That's a postcard.
It is a postcard.
All right, so I increased the spacing. It's real far apart now, but that's fine. Let's see. Someone said they love the halftone texture. Thank
I
you.
love the halftone. If you want them, they are included in Photoshop. You can download them. They're Kyle T. Webster brushes. They are for free.
They're free.
Just for you. Download them and halftone some stuff. Make some grungy posters. Pass them out for your band's concert in your mom's basement.
But not Squiggle Bop, because we already own that.
Squiggle Bop.
That's our
Oh
new
yeah,
song.
that's our band. That's our song. That's actually our hit song.
Not Mbop.
Yep.
Squiggle Bop.
Squiggle Bop. Yep. And that's it. Like that's the entire song. You hear it on the radio, and it's just a 1-second song. Yes, working with print is 300 DPI. Working for digital screens, you're probably working at 72 DPI, and what that means is dots per inch. So if you're printing it, there are 300 dots per inch. If you are doing it digitally, there are 72, and that will help to make your designs more refined. If you need to scale it up, you can either make a double scale or you can make double resolution. Either of those will work.
So, I don't like that, so I'm gonna comment.
Oh no, Squiggle Bop. Oh no, Squiggle Bop
I'm
is
so
broken
sorry,
up.
Squiggle Bop.
She's
We're
going
not-
solo. I'll have to find a new career.
I'm so sorry. Squiggle Bop was doing a little bit too much for me.
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna lower the opacity again and just add a little bit. That's big. All right.
Oh,
Let's see what that looks like
I'm
with
very
those dots.
interested. Yeah, it's gonna take a hot second with that.
All right, I want to
yeah.
get even bigger with the scale.
Abby, using color balance or selective
Ooh.
color. I don't know if there's one that is better. They do different things. So color balance helps you to even out the colors on an overall composition. You can increase blues, increase greens, kind of figure out. You also can, I guess, take down the luminosity or saturation to hold one color. Selective color will just take one color and leave it there for you.
I was like, what? Okay.
Wow, this is looking good.
You like
It's
it?
got some, yeah, it's got some really fun, like this halftone texture is really fun.
Ooh, I'm gonna add some noise at the end.
Oh, it's noise. So that's a
Yeah.
great way to take your designs. And again, we talked about this earlier. Sometimes things that are polished and refined, sometimes you have to make them worse to make them better.
Absolutely.
And so adding some noise is a great way to bring it into a real world application. A lot of times when you take a photo with your phone, sometimes with the camera, it will get a little bit of that pixelation. So we want to add some noise on top of everything. I believe we have to fill a layer
Yep.
with noise. Yep, exactly.
I was gonna do a fill layer, and then I was gonna turn the opacity of the layer off, and then just add noise that way.
Exactly.
And you can just double click on the layer to bring up the blending modes. I'm gonna turn the fill opacity off, and I believe it should still.
Filter noise.
Yeah, I believe it should still show through. Okay,
Yep.
let's see.
Let's check it.
And convert to a smart object.
Oh yes, camera raw grain is a great way to do noise as well, Tim. Again, Tim is living in the year 3000.
Right. I'm like, okay, layer.
Tim, if you can drop a link or a way to download the Kyle T. Webster brushes, that would be great as well. We had it yesterday, I think, somewhere. I'm not sure where it was. There were instructions somewhere yesterday. Tim's got it. Tim is great. He's our moderator and helps us when we are here.
So I made a layer and I turned the opacity off, and then it said it was empty. So I think actually if I fill the layer and then do it that way, let me see. Because yesterday when I wanted to add noise after we were done, and I actually put it in a separate file so I could add noise to the whole thing.
Yeah, so sometimes what I'll do too, if you have a layer, you can actually make a copy of the merged layers on top of everything, and I will add the noise to that sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Did I do anything? Can you not see it?
It doesn't look like it's showing through.
Okay. So what's the best way to
So
add
yeah,
noise?
let's cancel that and then delete that layer. And then Command Option Shift E.
Is that that?
Oh, that's not it. Command Option E, I believe.
To go with camera raw green.
It will, yeah, we can do camera raw grain. I think that, let's see. Let's see if camera raw grain does everything all together. Let me actually open Photoshop and I'll see what that hotkey is.
Where's
Yes,
camera
those
raw
brushes
green?
are amazing. If you add brushes through Photoshop, it'll take you to the link. Yes, very quickly. Then the brushes panel. All right, let's see what that hotkey is real quick, and we can try to.
Wait, I added it to the texture layer, and I feel like it looks good. Look. I just added it to the
Oh
layer
yeah, it's
that
adding
has...
a little bit of noise, so very subtle.
I'm gonna add a little bit more.
Yep.
That looks really good.
Oh, okay. Command Option Shift E. Is what makes
create a 50% gray layer. Okay. Yay, thank you.
Oh, great. Yeah, gray layer, soft light. Yep, smart.
But I already put it on this one.
Yep.
And
again, literally, I love that. Like you're doing it one way. I have another way. Tim has another way. There's no wrong way to do things. Just experiment with it until you get to a point where you're like, yeah, this feels right.
I feel like that looks good.
Yeah, it definitely is starting to feel a little more real world, a little more together.
And even some dust and scratches.
We love dust and scratches. I'll add difference clouds sometimes too, just to get a little bit of
let's try that.
Yeah.
This file hates me. Okay, I mean, actually lower those a little bit. Let's do...
Dusty.
Super dusty. That might be too much.
Oh, at our scale, it doesn't feel like too much. Maybe the opacity is a little hot.
Yeah.
But I love what it's doing to interact with those lighter colors up top. It's really bringing it together so that it feels cohesive and kind of grounded.
Let me see.
Yes, thank you, Tim. Brushes panel, click on the hamburger icon in the upper right and click Get More Brushes, and then you can find those Cal T. Webster brushes.
I'm loving how this looks. Okay. And then you said difference clouds?
Yes, I think we have to make a new layer.
Okay. We're going to make the gray layer.
Oh, yeah.
So how'd you do that yesterday?
New layer, Command-Shift-N. Oh, yeah, or you can go there, new layer. And then we change the blend mode to soft light or opacity. Oh, sorry, or overlay. And then
50%.
click on
right here.
50%. Yep.
Yep.
So that's going to basically make a layer that's invisible, and then anything we do as an adjustment to it will adjust everything below it.
So I'm going to... I feel like I want to add that to here instead. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to add the noise to this layer. So that way we can edit the opacity.
Yep. And see how it all works.
Yeah, and then add the noise here. Filter, noise, add noise. And it can get really noisy.
Yes.
So noisy.
Look at that. We're starting to get toward a finished product. We have a couple minutes left, but it's looking great. Let's recap real quick of what's coming up on the stream. We got about 5 minutes here. We're going to start to wrap this up. But right after this, there is a daily challenge coming from Andrea Huck for XD. Here's our schedule this morning. We had Anna doing our Photoshop Daily Challenge, which was super fun. Hopefully you've enjoyed our stream today with Sophia. And we have a XD challenge coming up with Andrea Hawk. Then N Wang is finishing up a project from yesterday. And I will be back at 2 o'clock for our Illustrator Daily Challenge. So let's hop back in. We got 3 minutes left and start to button up our last poster.
All right. So now that we're adding blurs, and then you said the difference clouds, right?
Yes.
So that is going to be...
So it's in render.
And render.
And then difference clouds. And it's going to get a little bit crazy. So if we already have a lot of that poster texture in there.
Oh, so you probably can't tell.
Yeah, but difference clouds help to get a little bit of wobbliness, I guess.
Look at that texture.
Wow. So this is what we're talking about of Illustrator versus Photoshop.
Right.
Right? That as you start to scale, those little squares are pixels, and those will get bigger and bigger as you scale. But when you're working in Illustrator, you can go an infinite size and you won't see any of those pixels. It's mathematical based. And so you will not see those. It will just be able to scale eternally.
Yes. Okay, I like how that overlay looks. We're at about 50% opacity.
That's great.
It feels so good. I love texture. And I want to just open back up the other one that we made. So if you missed it, we made 2 posters. We did 2 different colors. Oh, he said dust and scratches will remove them, not add them. Oh.
Oops.
Thanks for that info.
Got it. So yeah, let's recap. So today we created 2 posters with a quote, grow through what you go through. We used a lot of blends, a lot of blending modes, and took it from Illustrator into Photoshop. Why do we have 2 versions of this?
Because, why not have options?
Yep.
It could be a poster series, like you said. And also, I feel like there are so many different ways that you can think about work. I do that often.
Yep.
I made a quote. I think we showed it yesterday when we had the work up here, but I made 3 different versions of this quote, vulnerability is not weakness, because I made one and then I was like, oh, what if I tried this? Oh, what if I tried this? And they were all completely different, but they all had a different feel. And certain people were more drawn to one versus the other. So it's just like giving options. You know?
And are you going to post these on your Behance once
Yes,
we're done?
I will.
So she'll be posting these on her Behance. Go follow, and when she posts them, let us know which one you like better. And let us know which poster is your favorite. All right, that was it for our stream. We did it.
Are we done?
We did it.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks so much for joining us. Go ahead, follow Sophia on Instagram, follow her on Behance, check out her work. She's constantly putting out amazing stuff. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
And we will see you all a little bit later. Andrea is up next with our Daily Creative Challenge. Then we have some XD, and I will be back at 2 o'clock with our Illustrator Daily Challenge. Hop into Discord, and I will see you guys later today. Bye.
Bye.